你知道吗？2024年欧莱雅集团全球的销售额已经到了近3300亿的人民币，这是什么一个概念？它比第2名的联合利华美妆业务整整多出了1000个亿，是第3名雅诗兰黛的整整3倍。你今天见到的中国女人的化妆台，大部分都是被欧莱雅集团给承包的。不光是欧莱雅自己同名的巴黎欧莱雅，大家应该知道是深入人心。比如说我们知道的兰蔻、赫莲娜、YSL、Aēsop、理肤泉等等各种美妆品牌都是他们家的。在中国当下这么卷的美妆市场，是怎么把欧莱雅从0做到第1的？接下来又准备怎么做呢？今天我们就要去一下欧莱雅1年1度的战略会。
欢迎大家来到欧莱雅中国2024到2025年度战略发展沟通会。
Bonjour, good afternoon, 大家好。
欧莱雅今天这场战略会可以说是重磅云集，有3点收获可以跟大家分享一下。第一个收获，重点关注3个潜力人群 ：Z 时代、熟龄女性和男性。第一个人群 Z 时代，也就是15到25岁的这群年轻人，他们在互联网世界中长大，他们对世界无所不知、无所不晓，可以说是目前市场上最鲜活也相对压力比较小的群体。第二个人群，熟龄女性，她们经历了中国最高速发展的时期，拥有极强的对美和对高品质的生活的向往。第三个人群，15岁以上的男性，你可以看到今天越来越多男性也开始在乎自己的形象，确实拥有着巨大的潜在机会。第二个收获，为多品牌打造相应人设。是的，你没有听错，现在除了人要做人设，欧莱雅也给自家32个品牌赋予了它各自对应的人设标签，表达我是谁以及我代表怎样的价值观。当然也会有消费者问这么多品牌对我而言有什么用呢？我觉得欧莱雅中国副 CEO 马小雨马姐有段话就挺让我感动的。她说，
其实我们很多女性在长大的过程当中，可能是被一种固定的模式所限制，但是正是通过这些品牌所缔造的这个形象，让我们知道了其实人生很短，但是可以追求的美很多。
第3个我想分享的收获是关注整合长寿科学。前段时间我还和永生人 Brian Johnson 聊过，越来越多的顶级富豪们都在研究怎么才能活得更久。欧莱雅也提出了一个关于整合长寿科学的课题，希望探索到底怎么能活得长还活得好。
This is why L'Oréal is behind this idea of longevity.
现在呢，我就对谈到了欧莱雅北亚总裁及中国 CEO Vincent Boinay。
Hi Vincent.
This is Doris.
How are you feeling? Tired?
No.
Okay. So should I call you Vincent or
Please.
Vincent?
The French way is the best way.
Okay, Vincent. I heard you spent like more than 30 years in L'Oréal, from a management trainee all the way to CEO of North Asia. So when you joined as management trainee, have you ever imagined one day becoming the CEO of L'Oréal, North Asia, and even China?
Not 1 second, as you can imagine. But thank you for having me, and thank you for starting with a question like this. It reminds me the good old days. But no, at the time, L'Oréal was a way smaller company. It was probably 10 times smaller than what it is today. And I feel privileged. I've been in an amazing entrepreneurship story. Being at L'Oréal for 30 years is really a cool moment. And more than cool, it's very enriching.
Mm-hmm. But when you joined, what was your imagined career path? Did you imagine yourself to become what kind of career path? I'm just curious.
No, but I mean, it's again with a lot of humility. I mean, I say it. I mean, I didn't know I was about to become, but I had a trust in something could be possible tomorrow. It was L'Oréal, and it's a chance, and that's why I say it for the young generation. Trust yourself. Trust the company you are working for. Enjoy. Find a balance, and if you enjoy every day, you will be rewarded.
And I saw that in your previous presentation, you mentioned you will have a very special potential customer called Baby Boomer or Gen X, 55 years old plus. Can you share any insights or any ideas that you guys want to do with this?
But I mean, first, it's not rocket science that the population is aging, and this population wants to age beautifully. Therefore, we need to bring something different. And I took the example earlier of Lancôme Absolue Longevity. It's bang on. These people, they want to be aging once again, but they want to have something that is meeting their demand and what they want to apply on every day. But for that, we need to know better what longevity means for people, and this is what we are doing.
Yeah, that's actually very cool. So longevity, how is it different in China than in Europe, for example?
Longevity is not different. skin evolution is different. And that's why when we are using PDRN in the latest Absolue Lancôme product, it's very meaningful, and the response from Chinese consumer is amazing.
Can you share, like, elaborate more on this like different groups?
It's on the different groups. I mean, it's two things. First, on the boomers, the senior. If you want to get stronger, if you want to get more precise, you need to listen, you need to dig into it, you need to have your research and innovation center to decode and deep dive in the skins of boomers first, and by nationalities. And therefore, I mean, this is what you have to do for every age group. You need to be more knowledgeable of every age group to bring the best answer to their needs at their age, at their moment of life. And that's the beauty of what L'Oréal is doing today.
Yeah, that's actually very difficult. So my first thought is, if you are talking to different groups, how do you balance to have a unified or consistent brand image across all the ages?
That's another very important marketing question. The brand image is important for the brand identity, the brand persona that Laurence Ma talked about during the presentation today. But then you can adapt the way you speak, the service you bring, the makeover you do according to the age type of your customers.
Yeah, now that you mentioned the brand persona, I was really fascinated by this idea. Why would L'Oréal start to have this idea to have a different persona for each brand?
It's not a new idea, but if I may, I mean, if we look back 20 years ago on the Chinese consumer, it was not totally one size fits all, but very few brands were serving many consumers. Today, the choice is just amazing. Today on Douyin, you have more than 12,000 brands of cosmetics sold. So you imagine the fragmentation. Therefore, you need to be way stronger, way more precise in the way you do your marketing for the people you want to talk to.
Right.
And it's almost mission impossible to talk to everybody.
Yeah, my mentor always taught to me, if you target everyone, you target no one. Yeah. So is that like different persona? Is that a good strategy to premiumize the brand? I remember that was your like global, that was L'Oréal's main strategy.
It was part of the strategy of L'Oréal, not the main strategy. But yes, I mean, you understand very clearly that we at L'Oréal, we have the best portfolio of the beauty industry. And we can talk to the premium consumers with a premium brand, but we can talk also to the middle class and to the entry into beauty market at very affordable price with L'Oréal Paris. So we have the extreme.
Yeah, that's actually the beauty of brand portfolio. Actually, I'm just curious, for China's persona, is it different from global brand persona? For example, Lancôme, is it different?
Lancôme, for instance, it's a good example because you take the beauty leader in the selective market in China, and by far the most loved brand in China. One of the key positioning of Lancôme worldwide is happiness. It's also the same positioning here in China. And therefore, we are not distorting what a brand is here in China. Because, again, coming back to your point about the travelers, the Chinese travelers, if they go to Paris, to Milan, to New York, to Los Angeles, to wherever, to Tokyo or Seoul tomorrow, they want to find the same brand positioning. Maybe they can have some different products. Maybe they can find a little twist, but the brand is a brand, and that's very important.
I actually really love the brand YSL, and then the first time, yeah, you too. But I feel like the first time I saw YSL in China is from Korean drama. You know, the actress uses, and it's still so beautiful. Then the idea of YSL for me in China is kind of different from YSL globally. So I know you also manage Korea and Japan. What do you think are the synergies that we can use, you know, across countries, especially among these these Asian countries?
You know, I'm traveling, and this coming months, I will be traveling to Korea. I will be traveling to Japan, and I'm sure that I will be seeing the same YSL in the three countries. I've got no doubt about it, and this is what you are describing. I mean, this is the power of the brand. YSL, it's a very edgy, modern cosmetic brand.
So, for example, with Korea, what are your strategy and anything you think that can replicate to China?
Replicate, I don't know, but I mean, amplify certainly. Because I mean, what we are doing in Korea with some development, what the trends we are identifying can be amplified in China. So it goes always. This is this idea of a beauty triangle. The trend of Korea, the savoir-faire of Japan, the knowledge of China and the consumers. So we play at full speed and scale this idea of North Asia beauty triangle.
Yeah. You know, in my memory, like when I was young, Chinese, we only put on lipsticks. And today, I put on 4 layers of a lot of things on my face.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and most of it from L'Oreal. And also my hair care. I used...
Kerastase.
Yes, Kerastase and L'Oreal Professionals.
Wow.
So I'm just curious, what do you see as the upcoming trend in terms of beauty in China? I just feel like it moves so fast. Sometimes I cannot even catch it.
No, you're right. I mean, it never stops because I mean, new molecules are coming, biotech are starting, and there is new ways of formulating products. But it's also new devices. Again, I mean, I was talking about Airlight Pro, the new air dryer that is coming. You will see that it's an amazing product. It's probably a revolutionary product in air drying, in the air drying segment. Mm-hmm. And it's the best combination between air drying and low energy consumption. And this is what we are about. I mean, we have to invent the future of beauty.
Yeah, I just tried it with my hair. It's actually pretty good with LED and it's low heat. So I don't know if it's out of our question, but you know, there are many Chinese local brands up and coming within the beauty industry. Today I buy like body oil, I bought fragrance, I bought so many things. I feel like women have so many things I can buy just on my face and hair. So how does L'Oreal plan to compete or like still lead the market despite all these competitions?
First, competition is everywhere. And we know, we at L'Oreal, we love competition. You know, it keeps on your toes. And you need to elevate your game if you want to win. It's like in any sport. You know, competition is fierce and everywhere. And you have to train and to train again if you want to be the best on the pitch on the D-Day. But coming back to beauty, it's exactly the same thing. I mean, we at L'Oreal, we strongly believe that tomorrow is going to be promising as long as you keep innovating. And this is what L'Oreal is about. It's about science and innovation.
That's amazing. I read about that you're really a devoted rugby fan. Just curious, what parts of rugby really fascinates you so that you're really interested in that?
I like your question because I like rugby a lot. But you know, it's probably a sport that is not well known in China, but it's worth looking at because it's for me one of the sports where the collective spirit is at a maximum. It's definitely a game when even if you have very talented rugby player in your team, they can't win a game alone. It's by definition a sport where the team is winning. And on top of it, it's a sport that is very demanding, physically demanding, and can be a bit violent from time to time. But after the game, it's probably the sport where you really like drinking and having a beer with all the people that were on the pitch with you.
Yeah, it sounds like beauty industry, very competitive. You need a team to work well. Is your leadership style very similar like in the rugby team?
Maybe we are a little bit more feminine at L'Oreal.
True.
You know, it's probably one of the strengths of L'Oreal. You never work alone. And it's last week, for instance, we had the pleasure and the honor to welcome part of the management committee of L'Oreal, starting by our CEO. And we had a week of exchange, discussion about China tomorrow. What do we need to do to change, to win tomorrow? So you are not alone. And you, with your team, you bring what you know. You bring what you believe is China today and could be China tomorrow. And then by having these exchanges, you get stronger together and you meet global and local together.
Actually, last but least, I just want to ask you, looking back these 30 years, if you want to summarize what are the essence of beauty business, in order to do well, in order to elevate the game, what do you think is the core essence?
Customer knowledge, listening to customers. Of course, you can bring, and you have to bring the best, but if you want to keep growing, listen to consumers. By the way, you have a Chinese way to say it. How do you say? Customer is king. And I think, when you say it, believe in it and do everything around it, and then you'll be successful.